Hello and welcome. This is Oles Gurjuk and you're watching Head to Head with UATV. Today we're talking about renewable energy sources, its potential for Ukrainian energy market and for Ukraine's international economic cooperation. To discuss the issues, we are hosting Valentina Beliakova, Country Director of TIU Canada in Ukraine. Hello and thank you for being with us today.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Ms. Beliakova, as far as I know, you're representing TIU Canada, and it's a renewable energy company which stepped into Ukrainian market just last August, right? Half a year ago, when the Canadian-Ukrainian Free Trade Agreement was signed, and your company became the first investor under this agreement, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, what is your current involvement in the Ukrainian energy sector?
So currently we have constructed the first solar plant, 10.5 megawatt in Nikopol area, which is located in the historical place Nikopol Ferro plant on the territory of 15 hectares. And
wow,
basically it's first of our project in Ukraine.
That is the first project in Ukraine. Why did you choose particularly that location in Nikopol?
Nikopol is interesting because first of all, it's good in the south region due to the radiation level of sun there, and also it's quite interesting to have such a new renewable technology close to the Ferro plant. Also.
And you mentioned that the capacity is 10.5 megawatt, right?
Yes.
For which territories is this amount enough?
So this would be enough for part of Nikopol, not for a full city for sure, but...
Just so we clear it out, how big is Nikopol? How many inhabitants are there approximately?
Approximately, I think it's about 500,000, maybe a bit more. Not sure.
So 500,000 people?
Yes, I think a bit more.
Well,
somewhere about that.
This plant is pretty productive if it can supply an energy for 200 and 250,000 people in households. Well, if we speak about ecological issues of renewable energy sources, how environmentally friendly, so to say, are they?
So if we will compare, for example, our plant, so we are decreasing for about 12.8 thousand CO2 emissions per year, if to compare with the same coal plant, like 10.7 megawatt generation. So it's a significantly big impact to the environment. Also, it's absolutely clean and clean technology. So, and also decreasing of the CO2 emissions.
And besides ecology, how do the locals benefit from this solar power plant?
So far, the locals, so first of all, they have the working places there. So it's about 25 working places for the local employees, and also the local budget already received more than 2 million hryvnias. 2 million
hryvnias for local budget.
Yes.
Good. And when did this plant start its work?
So from the 1st of February, we started to sell the electricity to the wholesale energy market. And the plant was commissioned in November, but due to some issues with NERC, we unfortunately delayed for a bit for selling to the wholesale energy market, to Energorynak.
So could you specify once again, because I couldn't hear you, when did the plant start functioning? In November or in February? So
it was constructed in November, but starts to sell the electricity to wholesale energy market from the 1st of February.
So just this month, basically.
Yes.
And you already paid 2 million hryvnias to the local budget?
Yes, we already did it.
Well, the local budget is going to be pretty profitable on your plant. And to talk about Ukraine in general, how big is the capacity for development of renewable energy in Ukraine?
So I will start from the beginning. So first of all, Ukraine has requirements from the European community regarding to increase the level of total electricity generated from renewables till 2020 by 11%. And so far we have in the total energy balance in Ukraine, so far we have just 1.47%. So there is not enough time till 2020, and it should be the 11%. So it's a big big amount could be installed there. Also, another thing is regarding the investments. It's quite interesting for foreign investors because the green tariff has a high level for solar plants, for example. It's 0.15 euro for per 1 kilowatt hour, which is to compare for another electricity where it's just 2 euro cents. And also this tariff is fixed by law till 2030 if you will construct and commission the plant in this and next year. Later on it will be a little bit lower, but anyway it's biggest tariff in Europe. For Europe.
But what renewable sources could we use besides solar?
It could be wind, it could be biomass, it could be hydro stations. So.
Do you think Ukrainian population is interested in this renewable energy sector? Because as far as we know, the population can even be rewarded for producing the renewable energy.
So in general, renewable energy is good from a different point of view. First of all, because it's our energy independence from, for example, Russia, gas.
For sure.
Yes.
That's probably the biggest aim of this such
it's
projects.
One aim. Second is if to compare, for example, with the coal plants, when we also are not flexible due to the coal in the occupied territory in Donbass, or either for the highest price to be buy coal from US or Africa, and also it has a good environmental impact, and so it could be not just good for Ukraine at all, but for the nations of Ukraine. So.
Well, but you mentioned the other sources like water, wind, biomass, but they seem to be less popular in Ukraine. Why would it be like that?
Maybe because of their, first of all, it should be some explanation to people of what is the different sources and how it could be used. Also, it's different places where it could be used. Yes, for example, in hydro, for example, yes, it should be used just in different rivers. And for that, with solar, it's much easier. Also, solar plant could be constructed faster than, for example, wind or biomass, because for wind, you should take the analysis surveys for the wind just itself per 1 year, and then the construction also about 1 year, so it will take about 2 years, which is in general for solar plant starting from the beginning till the end, it's about 1 year.
So solar plants are just faster in producing renewable energy. Well, in December last year, Ukraine joined the International Renewable Energy Agency called IRENA. What does this mean to Ukraine?
So to Ukraine, it means that now it's also a good possibility to have a communication with Abu Dhabi Foundation for the cheap loan for increasing the renewable projects in Ukraine.
So it's about financing.
It's about financing. It's about also sharing experiences with other countries, and in general, it's very good for Ukraine.
How does Well, you represent the Canadian enterprise. How does the State Energy Efficiency Agency cooperate with you?
We are
do they?
Yes, we are cooperating with the State Agency on Energy Efficiency. We have met with them several times. Also, they were in our opening of the plant, and they are supporting also with information regarding what are the free plants open for investors, like what are the places are available for investors to come, where are the specific places for solar, for wind, or whatever other plants.
Well, let's hope that this renewable energy is going to gain more progress in Ukraine, and we're wishing you luck in this, and thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you very much.
That was Valentina Beliakova, Country Director of TIU Canada in Ukraine. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Ales Garjuk. Goodbye.